Ready to go live, everybody? We're
Yay!
ready. Hello, everybody. Hello. Happy new month. How are you? What blooms in spring? What blooms in spring? We know that flowers bloom in spring, plants coil up and come out, grass jumps up. They bounce quite a bit too. So Queen Mother is saying to you, happy spring. Happy spring. It's a beautiful day. Welcome to Queen Mother Speaks. I know I'm giving you a quick preview of everybody that's in the studio today, but that's okay. We're in season 3 of Queen Mother Speaks, and our theme for this season is celebrating the achievements of women towards women's rights and bringing attention to the ongoing struggles for women equality around the world. That's our theme for this season. So you stay tuned, stay with us. You can send us information on women that you want to see featured on Queen Mother Speaks. You can send the information to queenmotherspeaks at gmail.com, lowercase queenmotherspeaks@gmail.com. Okay, thank you for that. We want to give a shout out to our viewer today. There's Sarah and the girls in Dubai. Thank you so much. I look forward to visiting you when it's the right time to visit. Hello to Odaya and Amalia in Israel. There's Bobby and Social tuning in from Kenya. Maskila and the Ravi from Damona. They're visiting in Kenya this week. Hello, girls. I love you very much, and I enjoyed being with you this week. All right, I want to say hello to Red, Sahai, Kwashi, and Ernestine out of California. We have Gattimore, Josephine, and Chief Salunga from the Gold Coast of Ghana. Once again, all right, looks like once again, thank you for tuning in to Queen Mother Speaks. Hit that like button. Days for you to remember in this month is on today. April 7 is considered World Health Day. And that's very great because today we have a great program dealing with our health and dealing with you. Also, in the month of April, we have Wellbeing on the show. Now, our takeaway from last week's show is that we talked about the importance of us donating blood 3 or 4 times a year. So, Queen Mother will be linking with our sister, Aisha, who is Kenya's global blood June 14. Let us have our co-host to say hello to you today.
Well, hello there from Atlanta, Georgia. This is Teresa Kemp, Nana Afua Adezawa the First. I am so glad that you've chosen to join us this morning or morning in Atlanta. Wherever you are in the world, thank you. Make sure you call your friends, start that watch party. And like she said, hit the like and look us up on social media. And we'll be adding the social media of our guest today so that you can tap into empowerment. Back to you, Dash.
Thank you, Nana. Also, let's have a word from the one and only Elizabeth.
Good morning, all, or good afternoon, evening, wherever you are throughout the world. I'm Elizabeth Myers, aka Tekhiyah, here from today, live from Winchester, Virginia. Normally, I'm in Marrakesh, Morocco, to give you the Tekhiyah report, but today I'm the world traveler. But I'm bringing Africa to Virginia. Back to you, Dash.
Hey, I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's give a quick hello to let our guests say hello in the studio today. You want to greet our
Hello,
guests,
hello,
Rofa?
shalom, shalom. Shalom,
Shalom.
shalom, everyone. My name is Rofa Tekhiyah. I'm coming to you from the lovely Kenya, and I'm here today to talk about plant-based nutrition and healthy lifestyle.
All right,
Wonderful.
very good. Let me give a shout out to Beverly Lax tuning into the show. I have Jalen. Thank you. Jalen's going to be on the show soon. I'm not going to even tell you what it's all about because he was on the show a few weeks ago. But guess what? We'll be coming back to them. And let's greet our other guests in the studio today. Okay,
Hi.
I'm pushing the button
Yep.
and it is not changing. Well, let me come over here. Hey. It's not changing. It's staying stuck on that one. I think it likes that lady Tekhiyah. We're
Well,
pushing it, Mary, but for whatever reason, yeah, let me try
That
another
beautiful
button.
smile.
Let's see what happens on this button or this button. Guess what? All of the buttons are being silent. That's
well, Josh, put
wild.
us all back on.
That's very wild.
See if you can
Yeah,
put us
put
all back
everybody
on.
on the
Okay, we're
screen.
trying.
Okay. Well, Mary Cordelia Myers, we're excited to have you here this morning or today. Let me start saying today. And we can't wait to hear from you and where you're at. And I'd just love to say greetings to all of those who are signing on while we're working out the technical difficulties. I see that we've got people from all over signing in. And I'm sure she said hello to the Wilborns who do provide the specialized attire that Queen Mother Dashanaba wears. We are very excited about the things that you all have going on. And we hope our guests will tune in to the Wilborn Sisters live broadcast that comes on. So,
Ah,
Mary,
there we are. So
yes,
wonderful and so
yes.
beautiful. Hello to everybody. So a warm welcome to everybody on the show. Okay, let's now, Mary, you're going to try.
Yes,
Let's try.
hi. Thank
There
you.
we are.
I'm really glad to be here. Yeah, so I'm going to talk a little bit about today about happiness, empowerment, mental focus. I'm a neuroalignment specialist, and I help people figure out how to be happy with what's happening right now.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. We
Awesome.
love it. We love it. We want that happiness. We certainly do.
Yes,
We want to say hello to
certainly.
all our friends and all of our fans and hello to all those spring birthdays happening in the month of April. We say to you, happy birthday, a happy shout out to Sissy, Mr. Malungu Julius, all in Namibia, Jennifer Sosu in, where's that, Tampa, Dr. Jakiri, Mary with the Women in Business, Dr. Scott Bellows, Professor Jane Wary, High Priestess in Atlanta, Georgia, and Monifa tuning in for Queen Mother Speaks from Curacao. Monifa's my blood sister, believe it or not. And she's going to be on the show talking about what's going on in Curacao with that jazz festival. All right, we want to ask you to continue to wear your mask, wash your hands, and please keep safe. I am Ella Dashanaba King, Queen Mother Denuno the First of Ghana, and I welcome you to Queen Mother Speaks. It's a safe place for inspiration and expression. I know I'm probably sounding like I'm off the chain. I am. I'm feeling very happy. Spring is here. You know, I've also sprung in the spring. I want you to tell us your name, where you're from, hit the like button. If you can hear me, let me know. Send me a little message and say hello. Hello to Sahai. Greetings from Los Angeles. Very good. And again, hello and good morning to Carolyn Wilborn, Wilborn Sisters out of Los Angeles, Hollywood, California. So, what is Queen Mother Speaks? It is a community platform, the Wealthy Conversations. We do commentary and insights to raise awareness, to inform, to inspire, to ignite. We also even want you to laugh, and we want to educate you at the same time. Queen Mother Speaks will give updates on expatriating to Africa, any country on the continent. We're here to serve you with that. We also give you words on newsworthy events, wisdom from the elders, and we have dialogue with our guests like we're gonna do today. Okay, and then we do a boutique of inspirational verses. No, from the Art of Living Institute, we had a online breathing session a month or so ago. Well, we incorporate that breathing into our meditation. I want you to know that on next week, we will have the Art of Living Institute live. Once again, here on Queen Mother Speaks, they will do a full breathing exercise for us live during the show on next week. So tune in for that. But today, for our meditation moment, here's what we're going to do as we always do. We're going to do our breathing. Okay. So here's what how we're going to do this. We're going to breathe in slowly to the count of 8. Hold to the count of 8. And then you're going to release. Okay. Breathe in to the count of 8. Hold to the count of 8. And then we want to release to the count of 12. Are you ready?
Yep.
You ready? All right. Let's do it.
Ready?
All right. Here we go. Okay, one more time. Very good. I hope you allowed that to sink in. All right. Thank you so much for that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to repeat our affirmation, and then I'm going to read the affirmation for today. And as I read it, I want you to receive it in your heart. And the affirmation for today, our topic for that is all that I need is available to me. All that I need is available to me. Are you ready? We're going to do it 3 times. All that I need
Need
is
is
available to
Is
available
me.
to
available
me.
to me.
Let's do it together. Number 2,
Oh,
all
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 that I
that I
need
that
need
I need is
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 available to me.
available
available
to
to
me.
me.
And one more,
All
all
I
that I
need.
that I
need
That
need
I need
is
is
available
available to
available
me.
to
to
me.
me.
The truth of this affirmation is realized by simply developing a personal relationship with God. Jesus' life is actually a perfect example because he knew that when he was hungry or when he needed lodging or he needed food for the night or needed something to be provided, did not worry. Even his ability to heal derived from his relationship with God. I pause and I embrace this same truth. All that I need is available to me. I keep repeating it and I feel the truth of it deep within. This is my empowering, life transforming truth. So when I accept this truth, then I release my lack, I release my struggle, and I release my worry. I exhale deeply and I just let go of the mental weight. I welcome the spiritual wisdom that speaks to my human mind and reveals this indisputable truth to me. Thank you, wisdom, in me, through me, as me, around me, through the Christ within. And so it is. The scripture for today, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, who giveth to all men liberally and with grace, and it will be given to him. That is James 1 and 5. That piece today is from Daily Thoughts from the Hillside International Chapel and Truth Center in Atlanta, Georgia. We want to reach out again. Hello to Abimbolo, Carolyn, Janice, Ophelia, Alina, Kier, and Ron. So right now, thank you for that. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to go right on over to our Talila report for today. Talila?
There we go. Thank you. I was on
Unmute.
mute and I couldn't find
Thank
the
you.
the right screen. Here we go. All right. Thank you very much, Queen Mother. As always, happy to be here to present the Talila report. And again, I'm coming from Winchester, Virginia. It's a beautiful day here too. And this month is Arab American History Month. And that is in part why I'm wearing my not only African American headdress, but Arab American headdress, and also Amazigh headdress. And on the Talila report, we explore U.S. issues that matter, like life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Talila is a name, a girl's name, and it also means freedom. It's my adopted name in Morocco, and the language Tamazight is from all over North Africa, all the way from Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria, all the way through to Libya and Egypt. And Talila being a girl's name, I love it because it's a reflection of my belief in having the freedom to create your own destiny, whether that's having civil rights or economic freedom. And so I'm addressing issues that impact our individual liberty and our right to enjoy the lives we create. So this is the 11th episode of the Talila Report. And during Women's History Month, which we've just ended, we focused a lot on women's rights. Being Arab American Month, I want to address another extremely important facet of rights that we as Americans claim both to cherish as part of our American values and to protect under our Constitution. But too often we come up short, and that's regarding the civil rights of minorities. I'm sure you're all aware that about the case of the murder of George Floyd. And I'm talking about justice for George Floyd and the trial of police officer Derek Chauvin, which started last week. And this trial is putting America on trial. George Floyd is one of a long line of Black men and boys who've been killed by police officers throughout the US and over many years. And the jury trial of the police officer who killed him has begun, of course, with the case of the prosecution going forward. In case anyone is not aware of the facts, it's hard to believe, but just in case, Officer Derek Chauvin restrained George Floyd after he had allegedly passed a counterfeit $20 bill, which is only a minor misdemeanor under state law. That's something that would be punishable by a fine, not by prison sentence, not by anything else. But he restrained him by kneeling on his neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds as the Black man begged for his life, cried out for breath, and ultimately went limp. So Chauvin now is on trial for second and third degree murder and also second degree manslaughter. And this trial of a police officer is not your typical criminal case. Most criminal defendants don't have expensive private lawyers funded by a police union representing them because they simply can't afford it. And instead, they rely on public defenders who are paid by the state. And now, while many, many, many public defenders are excellent lawyers, they are usually overworked, underpaid, have too large a caseload, and too few resources to investigate and find exculpatory evidence. Another difference, most criminals are not live streamed. Most criminal cases are not live streamed in real time. And we've seen this case playing out all last week and the first few days of this week. The vast majority of criminal cases in the US don't even go to trial. And this is because they're typically settled by the accused agreeing to a plea bargain in which he or she pleads guilty to a lesser crime and receives a lesser sentence than what would have been imposed if convicted for the original crime. But this case is not just about Officer Chauvin and George Floyd. This is a case about justice in America. The killing of George Floyd last year became one of the symbols of the Black Lives Matter movement in 2020. And the movement demanded justice for Floyd and other Black men and boys killed unnecessarily by police. And they called for the writing of 400 years of the legacy of slavery and racism in America. One very prominent professor, a Harvard professor, public philosophy, Dr. Cornel West, is telling us this is a defining moment in our history. He is asking the question, do we really have what it takes as a country to acknowledge the rich humanity of Black folk, to treat us fairly, to treat us like human beings? He says, because if not, you're going to lose your democracy. You're going fascist. If it weren't for Black voters, he says, especially Black women voters, we would have gone fascist under the gangster named Trump. And he's absolutely right. So last week, the prosecution's opening argument was compelling, and the prosecution witnesses' testimony has been agonizing and heartbreaking. The most compelling evidence that we've seen so far is the video that pretty much everybody's already seen that was captured by a young eyewitness who was a minor at the time, and she filmed the scene as a bystander on her cell phone. This video showed Officer Chauvin kneeling with his neck on Floyd, who was already subdued in handcuffs and face down on the ground for more than 9 minutes. What it didn't show was the other officer who had his knee on the back of George Floyd. So that's two officers on a already restrained accused. It showed George Floyd repeating over and over, "I can't breathe." It showed him calling for his mama. It showed numerous witnesses, including a woman who was a fire department first responder, shouting and begging the officer to get off Floyd, saying that Floyd was not resisting arrest, that he was unresponsive, and that he had blood dripping from his nose. But a phrase used repeatedly by the prosecution counsel in the opening argument is so pertinent. Chauvin did not let up or get up. He did not let up or get up for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. Now, Chauvin's defense lawyer has countered, suggesting several times that the officers were fearful of the onlookers who were standing around. To me, as a lawyer, that argument really borders on frivolous. It's really trying to shoehorn what the officers did unreasonably and unnecessarily into something reasonable. One former prosecutor, federal prosecutor, who's a 30-year veteran of the DOJ, Department of Justice, said he couldn't imagine an argument that armed officers were afraid of bystanders yelling at them to stop killing a restrained, handcuffed, unarmed, defenseless man playing well with the jury. And I agree. So when the eyewitnesses took the stand, many of them broke down and cried as they recounted the horrible scene of a man being killed before their very eyes. And in fact, many of them called the police on the police because the officers weren't listening. And one of them, a black martial arts expert named Don Williams, thought he was witnessing a murder. Even a police dispatcher who had been watching the scene unfold through a city security camera called the police on the police. She said that the restraint went on for so long that she thought the cameras had frozen, but her gut instinct told her that something was going wrong. So she called a supervisor in the force that she knew, who also testified. And he testified that Chauvin should have stopped kneeling on Floyd's neck after he was no longer offering up any resistance. And there were other police officers who've testified, very senior ones, including the one who leads the homicide division in the Minneapolis Police Department, who testified that a knee on the neck is deadly force. So the prosecution's case so far, from what I've seen, has been quite compelling. The defense has scored a few points with its cross-examination of some of the witnesses, but the defense case has not yet started. And as you may know, this is a jury trial and anything can happen with a jury. It only takes one juror to think there is a reasonable doubt that Officer Chauvin either murdered or acted by manslaughter to acquit him. So I think this case is going to test the mettle of America if conduct such as this is not redressed, and the perpetrators of what probably almost the entire population of the United States thinks is a murder are not held accountable. It puts institutional racism in the spotlight again, and America's response to it on trial, because racial injustice is an open wound on the face of America, and America needs to heal. And only justice can right the wrongs of this case and the past. So I just want to conclude, I think it's been really hard emotionally for people to watch this trial. I know it was for me. I know I got angry, and then I was horrified, and then I got angry again, and then I was just sad at the state of our country. And this is all on top of the angst and the discomfort that people have right now because of the pandemic, with the economic hardship, with the emotional trauma, and with, as Dr. Fauci put it yesterday in a briefing, COVID fatigue. I know I have it. And we have some guests today, I think, who are going to help us understand better how to deal with the mental health and wellness issues that people are facing now. And so I'm going to turn this back to Dash so that she can introduce the first of our guests.
Thank you so very much, Talila. And I really do appreciate the Talila report because she brings us up to date on what's really going on. And I thank you for that each and every time. Right now, we're going to bring first guest for today. Nana, unmute, unmute.
Got it. So I'm very excited
Thank you.
and honored to introduce Mary Cordelia Myers. She's a somatic therapist and an empowerment coach. Mary has spent the last 25 years developing programs to help people step into their power as peacemakers and creators of a healthy and joyful world. So, we are ready for her. She knows that we hold within us the seeds of our own personal greatness, and that by watering those seeds and learning how to lead empowered lives, we become, as Gandhi said, the change we wish to see in the world. And together we can create what Dr. King called the beloved community. Because empowerment is a process that everyone does in their own way and in their own time, Coach Mary has developed a wide range of programs and free resource page to help in every situation. And I'm very excited that we're going to give you all access to her and her page and her programs today. So she's a powerful speaker and teacher who has guided thousands of people to create lives that have more meaning, success, and joy. Who out there needs a little more success and joy this morning or today? I know we all do. Everybody's grasping at straws, and there's so much going on in the world today. So today, we're going to find out about the work that Mary's doing in the world and how you too can tap into it. So without further ado, Mary, we'd love to hear from you. We need you so much today.
Well, hi, thank you so much. I'm really, really glad to be here. It's quite an intro.
You're quite a wonderful woman. You deserve every minute of it.
You're quite a wonderful woman.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I think it's sometimes a little hard to talk about happiness, or people find it hard to talk about happiness right now because how much challenge people are facing. And I want to acknowledge that's not at all something that isn't important or part of what we do. But as human beings, we have a very, very, very strong tendency, even without huge things like the George Floyd trial and COVID, but even with the small things like the fact that we burned our toast, even with things like that, we have a very strong tendency to focus on those things much, much, much more than the vast panorama of wonderfulness around us. And I had a teacher many years ago who said, this is what we do. She said, we're like, look at this amazing world. And we're like, oh, I have a paper cut. And I saw that in myself so much that I began to really want to work on it. I became a therapist and started helping people specifically deal with their very real traumas and wanted to find a way to broaden the story to include the happiness part of the story, not just the dealing with trauma, dealing with growth, dealing with healing part of the story, but actually the landing in a place of appreciation of what we have right now. So that's sort of the basis of my work. Do you have any specific questions for me that you would like to ask?
Yes, I do.
Yes, good.
I do.
Okay. Dosh, you want to go first,
Okay,
Queen Mother?
Well, oh, yes, I do. Mary, I've just got to
Yes.
ask you for yourself. How did you choose to step into this line of work? And how did you know that this work would be the work for you, for your life and your passion?
Well, okay, that's actually sort of an interesting story. I was leading a peace circle in my house in Brooklyn, in my apartment, every Sunday for about 3 years. And people would come to my house and we would sit together and we would explore for ourselves how we could contribute to a peaceful world. And so one of the things that we did was we went to Congress and we lobbied for the Department of Peace. And I taught young kids every Martin Luther King Day. We celebrated by teaching kids to lobby and sending them to Congress. So that was kind of fun. And so it was sort of politically focused. Yeah, it was very much focused on changing the structures. And then, but we also did a meditation at the beginning of every single peace circle. And we would sit and be very quiet with ourselves, and then we would envision out loud peace. And when you've done that for like 40 weeks in a row, you have to start getting a little creative. It's like, oh, I see a peaceful world and everybody's happy and has food. You just do the envisioning. And I had this literal vision drop into my brain. It was probably more than 40 weeks. That was probably 120 weeks at that point, because I'd been doing it several years. And this vision popped into my brain. And it was a man walking along a kind of a dusty road, and he tripped on a brick, which is the funniest thing. But because he tripped, he fell and he injured himself quite badly, and he was unable to work. And so then he was unable to take care of his family. And then his sons found out who'd left the brick there, and they went and beat up that guy. And now there was an escalation into violence. And in that moment, that flash of a vision told me something about my own work, because I had wondered, what's my work? You know, I'm not a king. I'm not a Gandhi. I'm not a Gorbachev. I'm not any of those people. I'm just Mary, you know? And in that moment, I knew that my work was to try and find ways to help people diffuse that aggression within, to recover more quickly, and to find ways to interact with their world, their specific, their world in front of them, with more empowerment and less reactivity. And so then I went and I got a training as a therapist and did a bunch of stuff. It took about 10 years. Yeah, so that was actually how I started on it, was that moment in Brooklyn, in that vision dropping into my brain.
All right. Thank you for sharing that with us. Terry?
I was wondering, what suggestions do you have for the people who just don't want to get up and face another day?
Yeah.
They realize they don't like the person they've become. In some cases, I hear that they find out they're terrible parents. They don't like the person who's living in the household with them.
Yeah.
And they're just getting to know those people now that they're together 24 hours a day.
Right.
I keep hearing that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. COVID has really pushed people into kind of pressure cooker situations in their homes, and
Yes,
things that were tolerable before have become intolerable now. You know, I wish there was like a 1, 2, 3 easy answer, and I really do. And one of the things that I have learned from working with actual people, as opposed to in theory, you know, but actual people, helping them restructure their lives, is there isn't. But what I will say is this: you know, you have value and worth. You know, whoever is in this, you have value and worth. And there is a way for you to start paying better attention to what you want. One of the things that we do, we spend a lot of focus on what we don't want. So we'll be like, oh God, this person in my family is like this, and this person's like that, and I hate this, and I can't do this, and I can't do that, and I can't do this, and can't do that. And there may be 30,000 data points in front of you of what you don't want. And that is all fair. But what we must do is come back to ourselves enough to say, okay, what do I want? What do I want? And maybe it's like, I really want to get out. Okay, great, then get out. I really want some peace. I really want, and if you stay with it, you will contact what we have within, which is inner guidance. There is inner guidance within us that is accessible when we are quiet. And we will find that inner guidance. And there are resources. One of the things we have now is so many resources, especially online now. Like, wow, the resources we have. Too many, perhaps, because you're like,
wow.
But the inner guidance will tell us, you know what? Listen to Queen Mother Speaks today. The inner guidance will say, this teacher has a message for you. And listen, we need to come back to ourselves, and then we can take action in our lives. We can take action. Just actually yesterday, I had a long session with someone full of despair, really feeling like, wow, I've tried so many things. And I've known her long enough to say, okay, I am really sitting here right now. Let's see what we can find. There is a way out of this. I know there is. And by the end of that session, we collectively had an idea that suddenly she sparked. She's like, that would be good. I said, okay, we grab this now. We don't focus anymore on this despair today. We grab this thing. What would this idea look like for you? What if it unfolded? And she started to step into it. And hopefully this week, she'll begin to gather the resources for that path forward for her. So
yes,
it's a hard time, folks. It really is. Give yourselves a break.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
definitely.
Anyone else in the studio with questions for Mary? I have more, but anyone else want to jump in?
Can I comment something? One of the listeners, Deborah, said, wow, skin to skin in each other's private
Thank
space
you.
24/7 is such a challenge for the execution of our emotional regulation. She's exactly right. You know, can I just speak to emotional regulation for just a second?
Please.
We have nervous systems that drive us. And if you've ever yelled at someone on the highway who can't even hear you, you know this is true. If you've ever, a woman yelled at me in the grocery store a few years ago because I was walking too slow, pushing my cart. And, you know, she clearly had walked in some kind of state, something going on in her life. And I was just the thing that tipped her over the edge. I was not walking too slow. There's no such thing, right? So this is what happens. We have nervous systems that drive us. And when our nervous systems, you know, she said emotional regulation, when our nervous systems are getting too activated, we're very, 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 very vulnerable. I actually have some videos on my website that kind of explain this. We're very vulnerable because we have no resilience in that moment. And so we've got to learn to interact with our nervous systems directly. There's all kinds of ways. You know, you can settle your nervous system, and all this is on my site. Free stuff is available. And find your way back into a state where you then have a little more headroom, a little more resilience. And then when the person in front of you in the grocery store is pushing their cart too slow, instead of screaming at them, you kind of zoom around them, you know? So, but that's so true. It's been such a challenge for people.
Yes.
So I'd like to jump in here for a moment. Hi, Mary.
Hey, Lizzie.
So Mary is one of the few people in the world who can call me Lizzie, and that's because she's my sister.
No one else.
And I talk to us a little bit. You have you have a Facebook presence. You also have a course or a workshop that you call Blisscipline. Tell us a little bit about that and how you're helping people daily using this. Using your techniques, using breathing techniques and visualizations, and I have done what is available on Mary's website, and it is truly first calming. It's called How to Stay Calm in Crisis, and second, it's empowering. So talk to us a little bit about that, Mary.
Yeah, great. I will. Okay, so let me just give you the breadth of it real quick, because this is sort of the starting point. There's Blisscipline, which is a free Facebook group that I've been running for several years, and we interact and we play and we do exercises to increase our capacity for happiness. It's Blisscipline, the discipline of bliss, right? So that's Blisscipline. And then there are two other aspects of this that the Staying Calm in Crisis course, we created specifically in response to the COVID crisis, because what happened was I suddenly got a flood of calls. Like, people were out of work and I was overwhelmed with work. And so I thought, how do I respond to everybody? So we quickly threw up this course. You'll see my hair isn't even combed in some of the videos. So we quickly threw up the course, but it's very step by step by step by step for bringing yourself back into emotional regulation. And that course is available at stayingcalmincrisis.com. I'll post it in the comments, or I don't know if I can do that, but it's stayingcalmincrisis.com. And by the way, it's $39. It's not expensive, but it's free for anyone who can't afford it. So if you can't afford it, it's also free for first responders and basically people who have saved us in this crisis. So if you need it for free, you can have it. Yeah. There's just, you'll see on the site, it's on the page, it's all there. So these are steps, tools to calm yourself quickly and to build emotional regulation. And then one more thing, kind of at the other end of the scale, is I do a 21-day challenge several times a year, and we do a 21-day empowerment challenge. And this is when you want to just give yourself a little burst, a little juice, a little action. We do stuff. And so instead of just watching stuff online, you actually do stuff and report back. And when we do stuff, when we step outside and we do that thing and we challenge ourselves and experience the rush of positive hormones, you know, serotonin and a burst of positive adrenaline, right? So all these things, we begin to feel better in ourselves. And then when we notice that, when we see the connection between what we did and how we feel, now we own that understanding. We have it gained our own personal empowerment. So these are the ways I do it. And so Blisscipline is there all the time. You can get to it by just looking for the group on Facebook, or you can also go, I create a little page with a link on it. It says it's blisscipline.life. So it's BLISSIPLINE, Blisscipline. And then Staying Calm in Crisis, and then the 21-day challenge. So these are all things that that offer different ways to step into empowerment.
So one of the things that I've noticed through that, Mare, is that it takes, in order to really benefit from this in the long term, it takes practice.
Yes.
It takes doing it again and again.
Yes.
And you're informed by your training in mindfulness, in cognitive mindfulness. So tell us about that. Tell us the importance of practice.
Yeah, it's essential. We're always practicing something every single day. Right here, right now, we are always practicing something. And so what we are practicing will develop. We will get better at what we're practicing. And if we're practicing despair, we will get better at despair. Just be
horrible.
Right?
Well said. Well said.
Yes. Now, I want to be really clear. There is no blame of a person in despair here. I have been in despair and might be again. I had actually a fairly challenging year. So no blaming of someone in despair, but just to recognize that our empowerment lies in finding some capacity to choose something. And sometimes all you're going to choose is stretching. I'm putting my arms in the air and I'm stretching. And maybe you choose anger. I would like to acknowledge that anger is a step out of despair. So sometimes that's what we choose. And so you don't stay there. You step into the next thing. But so practice is essential. We're always practicing something. And then if you can find tools that really serve you and practice them regularly, just like lifting weights, your muscles will grow. Your muscle of a mindfulness, which is focused attention, which is I, Mary, am the boss of me, and I get to say where I put my attention. That will grow when we practice it, but we must practice it. And that's really what my courses are built around, because that's what I realized. I do have one other course that I don't invite people into until they've done some other work with me, because you need a foundation, but it's called Continuum, and people sign up for it for years at a time. We just meet continually and we really build. So that's exactly what I recognize is people need that ongoing, every single day, if possible, every minute, if possible, ongoing support. And people need community. We are so lacking community these days. And so this was a way that I could create online community where people could be seen and heard and loved.
Yes. Mary, everything that you're saying is just so right on point and right on time. One question I have for you is, you've been over 25 years doing this great happiness work. Can you give us a little idea of how has the work evolved over the 25 years, or how is it at this time?
Yeah, I didn't understand the nervous system stuff when I started. And I really thought that mindset would be enough. And now I understand better it isn't. We must do the nervous system work. My first work included trauma healing work. And it just does. Let's be real, bad things happen. Bad things happened to me when I was a child, and they do, and they leave these scars. So there is a healing piece that we need to do at different levels. Everybody's different. We all have our own story. So I didn't really understand that. I didn't understand how much support we need. And I didn't understand how much grace we need. Just a little personal story. Elizabeth and I lost our mom in January, and the last few months of her life were really painful. And I'm getting a little emotional as I say it. And we went through a lot, and it brought out a lot of difficult things in us, in me for sure. And this is how it is. We need grace. So even after I've done all that work, and maybe for a bunch of years felt like, I'm good. And this big thing in COVID, and I actually got COVID too. I got really, really sick. And so everything at once was generally too much, and I needed grace, and I received grace. So we need grace from other,
Yeah.
and we need grace from ourselves. And, you know, divine energy is always giving us grace. We don't have to ask for it. It is flowing at us all the time. We need to offer it to ourselves, though, and we need to be willing to offer it to others, and just generally be more gentle.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, Mary. I'm just going to let you know I'm definitely having you back on the show. All
Thank you.
right. Anytime you get another spiritual download, we want to hear it. We want to know about it. I will say to the listening
Definitely.
audience that I have I have visited Mary's site, and right now she has that 21-day challenge, and she's got one of the challenges posted. So I've actually been working with her as she's been working with one of her clients inside of the challenge. So I really want you to take down that site, her site, and go there, and you'll get a lot of great, great, great help. Thank you again, Mary, and we look forward to having you on Queen Mother Speaks again. Elizabeth, we're going to call you forward to introduce our next guest.
All right. Well, we have another special guest with us today. Her name is Rofa Tekhiyah. She is the author of Healing Tea's Go Vegan Guide. She's the founder of Healing Tea's Basket and the Restoration Lodge Kenya, as well as Choose Life and Wellness Cottage in Antigua. And her name, Tekhiyah, means resurrection. So she offers holistic services for restoring and maintaining a healthy life. She focuses on self-care for your mind, your body, and your soul, and the union of all three so that you can let go of your former self and allow the new magnificent you to emerge. So, Tekhiyah.
Hello, Elizabeth.
Hello.
Hi, Sarah. Good to be here.
Welcome.
Hello, my
Great
love.
to have you.
Hello.
So talk to us. First of all, where are you located, Tekhiyah?
I'm currently located in Kenya. This is where I met the lovely Dashnaba. And I've been here. I've been here about 7 years, on and off for about 7 years, and we started. I started out really living on an organic farm, and so from there, I started on an organic garden because I wanted more variety, you know, to be able to make salads, different variety of salads. So I started doing baby greens and sprouts and different things like that, so I could have some really good, healthy salads. And then the food was really just too much because my husband made me a small garden, but it wasn't that small. So I ended up with lots of food, right? And because we were on an organic farm anyway, my garden plus the farm, I had a lot of food. So when people would come to visit, I would say, "Oh, take some food, take some food." So one of my friends said, "Will you stop giving us food?" Yeah, and then she said, "I'm going to challenge you to have a basket, you know, create a basket and sell it, right?" And so at the same time, around that same time, I'd invited some friends that I'd met, you know, maybe I'd been in Kenya about 18 months at a time. So I'd invited some women that I'd met to enjoy a vegan lunch. And so I challenged them to bring a vegan dish. And so it was really challenging. If anyone knows Kenya, Kenya loves meat. They love to
Oh,
eat
yeah.
meat. Okay.
Yeah,
And
so
so
does
it's
Morocco.
quite right. And so it was challenging for people to like, vegan, what is that? You know? And so I decided to uh, create a few baskets and invite a select set of women out to the farm so we could feast together. And so while we were there, we ended up talking about food, and I made a vegan version of what is locally called nyama choma, which is roast meat. So I made a vegan
Mm.
version, and they were insisting that it was meat, regular meat, you know, animal meat. And I was like, no, this is all vegan. So we just had conversations about food and health. And many of the guests, they were like, Kenyan guests, they were saying, we've never heard a lot of this information you're sharing with us before. And so one of them asked, said to me, could you create a group for us? So I started a WhatsApp group and added everybody that had come to that. And then I think I had 8 baskets ready at the time. It was Dash and I were really encouraging me. Yeah, do some baskets, sell them, sell them. And so I had baskets ready. Do you remember? I don't know if you remember. I had baskets ready for the luncheon, and so I think I had about 8 baskets there, and I think 5 sold. And the people that didn't buy said, "Oh, I'll get one next week." And basically, that's how Healing Teas Basket, the name, came about. And because
Have
in
you
my
got an
basket,
example you can show us of a basket?
I don't currently know
Not
because
handy. Okay.
no. But basically, it was full of organic vegetables, organic herbs, and ground provisions. Tomatoes, onions, sweet potatoes,
Hmm.
carrots, eggplants, different types of peppers, and
Oh my goodness.
rosemary, thyme, and oregano, and
Mm.
lemongrass. So it had a nice variety of things. So that's what became Healing Tea's Basket, and from there I offered from this group, which was continued growing because people would tell their friends about the basket they got, and so it really kind of started
Organically.
very organically. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it developed very gradually like that. And obviously my background is in natural healing, using all natural things, using nutrition, using natural practices, much like what um, Mary has shared with us already: deep breathing exercises, and mindfulness, and mindset, and things like that. I very much incorporate these things. So that's where the name came from. I'm like, oh, I've got a few things in my basket other than just food. There's other things that contribute to healing and contribute to wellness. So that's really where the name Healing Teas Basket came from, because it was like a pun, because while it starts with food, because it was a way to introduce me to Kenya, because we all need food. We all need food, and it's really an opportunity to raise awareness about what's good for food. And most people are not educated on what's really good to eat, what makes you healthy, what you're supposed to, um, what is best to eat. I didn't mean to say supposed to, because everyone can choose, because everyone has a different makeup. But there are certain proven things that when you eat them consistently, your body comes into balance and your body naturally detoxifies. And so when you get rid of certain waste out of your body can heal. But whereas if waste build up in your body, then you're more likely to maintain disease states, whether it's in the mind, body, or the spirit. But if you get maybe if you're able to detoxify certain emotions while you're detoxifying physically through eating certain foods, then you're likely to bring your mindset into balance. And so um, these are some of the things that I offer to, private clients. It may start with nutrition, because that's the first thing that people are aware of in terms of cleaning up their diet. People always feel guilty about what they're eating, because it's like inherently people know what's good for them and what's not. It may be difficult to change, and that's where the coaching comes in, to help people overcome their obstacles to making the shift that they need to make to improve the nutrition and improve their choices. And having access to better choices is sometimes part of the battle too. Which is why the nutrition I offer the nutrition workshops too, to open up the awareness too of how to make tasty dishes. Because again, when a lot of people think veganism, they think, oh, you just eat rabbit food, that's all you eat. But they don't
Mhm.
understand wealth and the variety of vegetable that's available, because most of us are conditioned to eat between 10 to about 10 vegetables, and we rotate between those 10, and there are hundreds of different vegetables available. Just when you look at beans alone, there are hundreds of different beans, and most of us rotate between maybe 4 or 5 different beans, the most popular ones. But there are hundreds of different beans. Just coming into Kenya alone, I've learned about at least 10 different new beans that I've never heard of or never seen before. So the variety is really key to getting a good source of nutrition. in your system. And to me, I try not to use the word diet. I try to use the word nutrition, because diet is connected to
Yes.
well-being, and that alone in the English language, is it has to play some kind of mental, what do you think, Mary? It has to have some kind of effect, to me, mentally on you when you're saying diet as opposed to nutrition, or
Yeah.
other eating habits or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, language has an impact on thought. Most people think they think and then they speak, but it's often the other way around. And that's why we've changed our vocabulary in many ways. We don't call stewardesses anymore. We call everybody male, female flight attendants. That's why we
Right.
don't use Mrs. anymore. Mostly in the US, we say Ms. for women,
Yes.
and
Yes.
just the equivalent for Mr. for men. So that's very important. I just want to jump in here because there are so many options in veganism that actually I've learned from being with my sister over the last couple of months of my mom's life, because she and her partner are vegan, and her partner is strictly vegan. And I was really surprised, as a non-vegan, non-vegetarian, but somebody who prefers to eat more of green stuff and vegetables and healthy things, and especially beans, that there were so many things you could substitute for meat.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the technology apparently is getting so sophisticated about what you can substitute and what it tastes like. This was really eye-opening to me, that some of the things that Mary served me that were actually vegan, like butter, cheese. We even I made a Moroccan tagine with some specially made tofu, kind of like steaks, and it was great, wasn't it, Mary?
It was totally delicious. I wish you'd make them every week.
and those are the types of things I teach at my workshops, is how to create meat substitutes, so you get the texture and the flavors that you're familiar with, without the blood and the tissues and those things, so that it's a much healthier, and even now, I'm a little nervous with the push of the mainstream conglomerates pushing, the technologies, the meatless technologies. I'm a little bit nervous because of all the additives and other things that and the genetically modified things that they're adding. So to me, it's really like a trick, because your body still knows the difference. And so to me, staying with real food that our body genetically recognizes, our immune system recognizes, is really, really important. Because a lot of the allergies that our youngsters are now suffering, that we never used to suffer from before, whether it's what was increased so dramatically is the autism and things like that. It's because the food sources are changing. There's a lot of genetically modified foods in our food systems, and we're not understanding the effects that they're having. But yet autism is increasing, and especially in our communities. And so it's really important to stay on real food, not just because it says it's vegan, but you actually know that it came from a plant, that it grew in the ground, not that it didn't come out of a lab. That's a really key distinction to make when we're going vegan. Just because it's in the store and it says vegan doesn't mean it's going to be healthy for you, and so it's really important to have a lot of organic, plant-based foods in your nutrition plan, in your regimen, so that you are getting a variety of real nutrients in your system to build your immunity. That is what's really, really important, more than ever now, than ever before. Because there's so many changes happening in the world, which we have to protect our systems, fortify our immune systems, so that it acts, so it responds correctly.
Yes.
Really,
We tell
really,
young people here, if your fruit or vegetable does not have the seeds in it, it is not real.
exactly.
If
all
the
of that.
dye comes out on your white countertop, it is not naturally that color. And you can always test your foods to see
Mm.
if seedless grapes, seedless watermelon, how
Yeah,
did
all
they
of
get
that
there
is
if
not
there are
real
no
food.
seeds? That's right.
Exactly.
And
None of it
here
is
they
food.
clone salmon, and they're cloning different meats,
Yes.
and they're
And
saying they're safe.
it's all for profit.
That's right.
It's not for health, it's for profits.
Yes, medicine is big business here.
Yes,
One of the
yes.
things that I started doing was importing moringa and neem, and those are two plants. And
Yes.
they helped keep me alive. When I was in Africa, I was walking 5 miles a day, skinny, healthy, and looked 20 years younger. When I came back to the United States and started eating the food, I began to spit up. And inflammation is one of the biggest problems. And
Mm,
so people need what I was getting to with the moringa and neem are both are plants, they're trees,
mhm.
but the leaves are high in protein. And so many
Yes.
people think that you can't get
Mm.
protein from plant-based things, but you really can. And
Every
so let me,
plant
yes, are
has
your
every
workshops
plant.
online?
I am slowly making that transition
Okay.
to putting them online. They are still. I do a healthy go vegan challenge, which I've put online for the first time this year. I did
Okay.
it in January. I did my go vegan challenge online for the first time. That was great. I had a lot of I did some interviews with vegan masters as part of the challenge too, which was really fun. You know, learning about people's journeys, vegan journeys, um, and so. But I'm slowly getting there.
Okay.
I currently do private workshops for small groups, obviously for small groups of people, and so I have one coming up next weekend, and I do monthly classes. So I'm really trying to see how I can how to really do it. You know, I have to really how do I do this? You know, what equipment do I need? How do I position everything? You know, I have done one. It's real. It's like going live and doing. You know, it's like how I'm even like looking at okay, so people sign up first. I have to give them all the recipes and they have all the ingredients there ready. So we just do it all together. I'm really just processing how I would really do it. You know,
So
but yeah,
let me
that's
say this to you.
hmm
I say this to everybody. Your first one's going to be terrible. You're going to make mistakes. You're not going to have everything that you want there.
Right, right,
You're
right.
going to have some technical issues. But guess what?
Definitely.
You've heard this before. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with that first step. And I always
Exactly.
tell people procrastination is disobedience in slow motion. People need it, get over it, start it, just
Do it.
jump in
Yes.
there and do it. And it
Right.
gets better and better and easier and easier. And it's going to add that joy to you because you will know that you are truly changing lives. And the same way your baskets with word of mouth get bigger and bigger, so will your audience.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
So
exactly.
just start, even if we are the only people you do it with. But if you will give me your site, I'm going to type it in the comments for our viewers. We always have a lot of people who are online with us, but they don't say anything in the comments. So I want you
Right.
all just
Yeah.
to send up some hearts and likes over there. And if you have any
Okay. I
questions,
want
do
to put
that.
a challenge on
So,
the table.
okay,
I want to put a
I'm
challenge
typing
on
the
the
challenge
table.
Uh-oh.
on the table.
Uh-oh,
T does
scared.
that 21-day challenge, and I testify, y'all. Now, since I've been in Kenya, we've done vegan
Hmm.
cooking shows here at my house, and I
Right,
hmm
right.
get to select and choose who comes. We pick like a dozen people. This is even before COVID. We pick about a dozen
hmm
people and we do a special day, usually a Saturday or Sunday. And T will come with her team and turn my house into a completely vegan place to be.
And we
And
have
we
Okay.
so
all
much
stand
fun.
around and watch her prepare, and we even help.
Hmm.
We help. We prepare. We chop up the onions and the tomato. We get involved. It's a very interactive workshop that
Yep.
she does. And when she completes, we all eat together. And when we finish, if there's food left over, we always have foil or containers where people can take some away. But I've gone even further than that. The other thing
hmm
I've done is I bought some beans and I had to soak them for 3 days in water before they were supposed to start. So now I was soaking these beans in water and I kept looking at them. And the next thing I knew, after about 2 or 3 days, those beans, all of them looked just like eyes. And it scared me. And so I threw it away. And then
Oh,
I called T and I said, T, those things, I don't know, something was wrong with those beans. And she said, well, explain what happened. And I told her what it was, and she said, no, they were ready. They looked scary to me.
they
So
were
I threw them out
sprouting.
and I started over and I bought a little bottle and I was spraying them and they grew every day.
It's like they were ready to make good
I got to
burgers.
watch it.
Yeah.
They
I
were.
can't tell you. T, I'm going to ask if the viewers of Queen Mother Speaks would like for you to engage them in a 21 many days you choose challenge. I want Queen Mother Speaks audience to become involved in a 20 in a challenge. You can tell us how it would be. I definitely want that to happen with you. Mary, I
Okay.
want to work out something with you too for the Queen
Great.
Mother Speaks listeners and those that are watching, that we can do something, that we can also talk about it because we're all inside of this pandemic together. And I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I don't have anybody to suck my toes. I don't have anybody to cook for me. I'm having to do it myself, and I am not a woman who spends time in the kitchen. So I'm so glad T is here because she's really helping me to learn how to be in the kitchen. I've never been a woman in the kitchen. Growing up, I'm the baby of 10. So cooking was not my thing.
Right.
That's right.
And so here inside a pandemic, so we're going to see about that. T, what do you think you can work out for us today? Or do you want to think about it and come back and tell us next week? But what do you want to do? Tell us.
I think a 7 day or a 5 day challenge would be good to give people the opportunity just to get started. Do
Yeah.
it short. I like to, you
Okay.
know, let's like ease people in, and then let them put their toes in the water, and just feel it and feel the excitement, because I think the first time I really did
Okay. Okay.
a nutrition workshop, the idea came to me, and my husband had started a restaurant at the time, and so the guys that were working in the restaurant with him, I said, oh, I feel like you should do a nutrition workshop. They're like, nah. They kept pushing it away, and I realized, oh, I'm supposed to do the workshop. So when I did my first workshop, I I was buzzing. I was literally, it took me hours to just like calm down, because it was it's like this that's when I realized this is something I'm really supposed to do. Because the excitement that came, the
Yes.
energy that came with it, and I was like, I was really shocked. I was really, really shocked, because at the time I was
Mm.
focusing more on detoxification. I had a wellness center in Antigua, which you mentioned in my intro, Choose Life and Wellness Cottage, when I used to do colon irrigation and give nutrition plans for people to help them. But when I realized they would struggle with the nutrition part, so which is why I was like, they came to me to do the nutrition workshop. But I got so much energy back from doing that, so I've kind of shifted, even though I do incorporate both. I've created programs where I have, detox kits that people can do that is based around nutrition, so that people can have that reset, and they can be 5 days up to 10 days, and they can have a reset, or longer. So that's how I really use the nutrition for healing. And when people have, other, like you mentioned, Mary, about different traumas, and I incorporate emotional freedom techniques
Oh, great.
and prayer and meditation and visualization. I incorporate it all too, because that emotional and mental aspect is holistic. Health is holistic. You can't have one, you can't heal one without the other. And so I try to create programs now that are very holistic, where it's about the nutrition. I start with the nutrition, but then I get deeper into their life and really try to help them create the prayers and the meditations and the affirmations, so they can really help make that shift, because sometimes people can't do it by themselves. So
Yeah.
now that's what I offer that as well, for my private clients, so that they
Mhm.
can
Very
really
good.
have a whole approach to it, so they can do the food, and then they can say their prayers, and they can say their prayers in the morning, in the evening. They can focus on, they can do the visualization and manifest, like you said, what is it you want. We get so stuck, and I'm guilty of it too much myself, being stuck in what I don't want. you know but I have to pull myself back, like you said,
Mhm.
focus on, what did you say? I wrote it down. What did you said tune into your inner guidance.
Mhm.
Focus on what you want, and
Yes.
and
I
and build
love
that
it. I love it. So
emotional
now,
regulation. It is so important. It's so
Okay.
true. You have to have a whole system. You have to have a morning routine. It has to become your life.
Yeah.
Healing and wellness has to be
Mhm.
a lifestyle.
You
You
have
don't
to
just
have some nature. You have to have some nature.
yes.
If you're living
You
in the
got
city, you better find that little
oh,
park. You got to have
Yeah.
nature.
you got to be able to breathe the oxygen from the trees. You got to go hug a tree or
Yep.
walk in the grass, go ground yourself, walk
Mm.
around barefoot outside.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
one of the things I've done for the last 3 months, I sleep. I go out in my garden. I realize there's no bugs and no mosquitoes. I tested it out. 3 nights for the full moon, I sleep outside, and I've
Ooh.
been blessed that it hasn't rained for those 3 nights. I've been doing that every month, and it's just like a great focusing. And women need that moon energy. We need that moonlight. So you don't have to go out and sleep under the moon, but just to acknowledge that moon in our balance, in our ebb and flows throughout the month. Just whether or not we have cycles, we still cycle, you know, with that moon. And so I've been finding that very grounding, and being able to connect to those other elements has been very powerful for me. And
Yeah.
it's something I really want to continue because I'm seeing
Mhm.
it's helping me come back to me, it's helping me find my middle,
Mhm.
and so, and again,
Okay.
it's like a starting point every month where if you got off track, okay, it's the full moon, get back on track, you know. So I use it as
Uh-huh.
a way to just connect to the earth, connect to nature,
Yes.
you know.
Yes. And I will tell you, when I walk outside and I look up in the sky, the moon is so big and so bright. It literally
Yes,
light up the grounds. You can just see everything like
yes.
it's daytime. But one of the things I want to say is this. I know
Mhm.
that Talila has another engagement. She's going to be leaving us now, but we'll
Regrets,
see
ladies.
her again
Wonderful
at another
to
time.
talk
Thank you,
with you
Talila.
Thank
all.
We're
you.
very happy
Thank
to kiss right
you.
now.
Yes,
All right.
thank you so much.
Oh, the kiss.
Mary, get to
Yes.
give her your kiss now. But
One kiss for
Mm,
you. Kiss for
okay,
Mary.
thank you.
Kiss for
thank
Thank
everybody.
you.
you, thank you.
I receive. We receive it. We love it. We
Yes.
love
Yes,
it.
we
We
Woo!
love it.
love it.
Yes,
Lots
Thank
of
you
love
so
this
very, very, very
today.
much. Okay, now Tekhiyah, for this
yes,
5 day
madam.
challenge,
Hmm.
I would like it if you would pick 3 different sets of 5 days, three different sets, and we will offer those dates to the listening audience, and we'll see how
Okay,
many sign up for a given
okay,
day, and then that will be the week rather. Okay, so
yeah.
Terry, Nana, are you getting this down for us?
Yeah, already down. I'm already saying there will be
We're going to
three
give 3 different dates
sets
live
of
on the Facebook
5
chat.
days.
Right. And 3 dates that will work for her. And once the people sign up and
Okay,
register, and she'll tell us everything about it, the cost and everything. We'll have everything worked out where you can send the money directly to her right here in Kenya. And you do it through a program that's called www.wave.com. Uh, Takia, do you have that
I don't,
one?
I don't have
Do
that
you
yet.
have Wave?
I don't. I have,
That's okay. We'll work it out. We'll work it out
yeah,
so
yeah.
you'll get it. I didn't have it, and I just got it, and it works. I've
Okay.
had 4 people to send me money from the States, and I love it. It comes right to my phone, and I love it. So you give us
Ka-ching!
5 days. We'll work on the challenge. Mary,
Okay.
Mary, what can we do with you? Can we pick a day as well? You give us 3 dates
Yeah, well,
as
I
well,
actually have a
and
challenge
we can
starting on
do
May 1st. I actually have a challenge starting on May 1st.
on May 1st.
I do it live on
Okay.
Facebook, and I've set it up. It is
Okay.
21 days, but the way I do it is we do a challenge day, and then we have ACE days, which stand for accomplishment, celebration, and encouragement. And so we accomplish something, we go
Okay.
out and do it, and then we celebrate, we share, I did this, and then we encourage one another, like, you rock. And so it's really easy to do. You can do
Okay.
it in any time zone, and I do it live, but it's recorded. So people, if they're sleeping while I'm doing it, they can
Okay.
jump on later, and it's got a really nice energy. So we're
Okay.
starting that May 1st.
Okay, and go through
All
those
right.
three
So we're
steps
going to go
one
with
more
that
time.
date.
Yeah, great. And I'm sorry, what did you say, Nana? I missed you.
Go through those 3 steps that you all do with the
Oh,
challenge.
so it's ACE, like you're going to ace the challenge. And it's accomplishment, celebration, and encouragement.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the encouragement piece is so important because we get so little encouragement as adults,
Yeah, yeah,
Who's in your corner
Yeah.
going, you are doing so Great
Yes.
job. I'm so
You
proud
are
of
amazing.
you. You're amazing.
Okay.
All right.
Now,
How
ladies,
long is
I
a
want to
session,
tell
Mary?
you,
How long is a session?
Just about an hour-ish.
Go ahead, T.
I was going to remind
Okay.
everybody out there,
Okay. So we
stir
could
up the
probably do
gift.
something on Queen Mother Speaks as well. I'm excited.
Yeah, but I want you to stir up the gift in you.
I'm excited.
You don't have to wait on somebody else to encourage you. Stir up the gift every day in you.
Yes.
Stir it up. Don't wait on
Yeah,
somebody
it's
else to come stir the
springtime.
pot. Don't wait on somebody else to stir the pot.
Mm-hmm.
Encourage
Yeah,
yourself.
even this Queen Mother Speaks thing. I jumped
Yes.
in the water for this.
Yeah.
I mean, I teach business and entrepreneurship and business plans and spreadsheets and all of the above. But when I got ready to do this one, it was not coming from the business world. It was coming from the spiritual realm. And so I jumped in the water and
Yeah.
got this
Yeah.
show rolling. And here we are some months later. But Mary, I'm loving it. May 1 is the date when the next challenge is starting. I do hope that in the month of May, maybe one of those days, we can actually do something live on Queen Mother Speaks,
That'd be great.
if that's possible. We'll work it out. We'll work it out. But to the listening audience, it's going to be you who'll be writing in for these two different programs. And as soon as they give us the information, we'll make it available, and we're all going to do it. And then we're going to come back and do the last part that Mary talked about, which is to talk about, to congratulate ourselves, okay, on what we've done. Very
Yes.
well, very well. T, I had a few more questions, but I don't think I need to ask them now because you've kind of answered everything. I just want to go ahead and say this is Queen Mother Speaks, Season 3. We're in episode number 5, which is about celebrating the achievements of women towards women's rights and the ongoing struggles for women's equality around the world. Tune into Queen Mother Speaks every Wednesday, live at 5 p.m. East Africa time.
Definitely,
Go to
definitely.
facebook.com, facebook.com/Queen Mother Speaks / All right, that's how you get into Queen Mother Speaks. Any closing words from anyone before we end for today? Mary?
I just want to say what this little piece of community right here is. This is what's possible, and you can feel the energy here. You can feel the love here. None of us met before today, you know. Here we are from all around the globe, and we're all in different time zones. But the truth of our humanity and our love inside of us is just the real truth. There is no other truth. The other stuff is layered on BS. Excuse me, and. And this is so beautiful. So I really appreciate you pulling together this beautiful little microcosm of love. So beautiful.
We love you too.
Oh, thank you so much. And Tekhiyah? Yes, we love you, Mary.
Oh, wow. It's been
Tekhiyah,
a wonderful experience. It's been a wonderful experience to be on the show, to meet Mary, to feel that encouragement from your gift is really helpful to me. And so it's been wonderful. It's lovely to meet you, Nana, and Queen Mother. It's always a pleasure working with you. It's a great pleasure of mine to be here and to share what I have with the world on another level. And you've challenged me in one of my specialties, which is a healthy lifestyle challenge online. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. Pushing me to that. Pushing me out there.
Make it happen.
You just push me off.
That's right. And I would
Thanks.
tell you that those baskets she makes, when she talks about the organic baskets, they're very full. It's like, wait a minute, she put too much in this one. Oh Lord, I gotta call her and tell her she gave me 2 baskets instead of 1. She makes them. They're very healthy baskets. And one person like me can't finish it all. All right. So next week, April 14 on Queen Mother Speaks, we'll have a retired law enforcement veteran speaking to us. And we will have, believe it or not, next week, we're inviting back the Art of Living Institute, who will do a live on-air 20-minute breathing workshop with us right here on Queen Mother Speaks. So now, find your time zone. So New York, Atlanta, Aruba, Curacao, Ghana, London, Germany, Morocco, Israel, South Africa, Kenya, Dubai, Afghanistan, India, wherever you may be in the world, tune in to Queen Mother Speaks. We'd like to right now give credits to our Wakanda crowns that are made for us by none other than the Wilborn Sisters Design out of USA. Jewelry is from the village of Achiavi in the Volta region of Ghana. Our fashions are with Ghana designers. The inspirational verse is by permission from Hillside International Truth Center. Our virtual room is supported by Street Code and StreamYard. Our Living Abroad flyer, which you haven't seen for a long time, I will be bringing it back. That's by permission from Paya Pa Arts Gallery here in Kenya. I am your host, Queen Mother Speaks, Dashanaba King, your co-host, Nana Afua Adezawa the First, also known as Terry Kemp, the Talila Report, Miss Elizabeth Myers, the Sankofa Elders, who will be coming back on the 21st of April. That is Professors Al Gaskins and Willie Butler. Hello, and thank you so much to our guests today, Mary, Cordelia, and Tekhiyah. We love
Yes.
you all. Let's get ready with your right hand and do our
Well, Dash,
virtual
wait a
kiss
minute, Dash. Before we go,
and
we want to
bow.
just tell
Oh,
the Asian, Dash,
okay.
we want to tell the Asian community that we're standing with you.
Yep.
We want to honor all women around the world. This is Women's History Month, so be sure to find a woman in your life to honor. We want to be praying and have a moment of silence, even though it's not going to be on the air today, for all of you who have lost loved ones, whether it be to COVID or whatever. We want to stand with
Mm-hmm.
you in prayer, in thought, in meditation for your losses. And for those who experienced earthquakes and catastrophic um, weather events,
Disasters
no, yes,
happening.
everywhere, everywhere.
Yes,
There's so
yes.
much going on. So, and for also, people have heard a lot about what's going on in Georgia legislation. The tricky part is that 43 states have changed their voting laws since January elections, not just
Mm.
Georgia. So people aren't upset about just Georgia. Keep in mind and check where you're at and stay active, stay woke, as they say. So, everybody, we ready for that kiss? Hands ready, hands ready.
All right. Take your right hand.
We
Mwah.
love you. So if
We love
nobody
you.
told you they
Mwah.
love you, we love you today, and we want you to know you're always on our
To the
mind.
right,
Please make sure
I
you
do one
interact
to
with
the
us through
left,
the week.
and then I do both.
Okay. Mm,
All
mm,
right. If you want in on
mm.
that, if you want in on that 21-day challenge, and you want in on that 5-day, come on
Yes.
in. Give us a call. Reach out to Queen Mother Speaks. QueenMotherSpeaks@gmail.com. Thank you so much. We love you. Signing off for today. Great show. Thank you. I'm so happy.